What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman. We've actually had two Phase 4 Slate leaks within the last couple of weeks, the first of which we didn't even report about at the channel. Not only did it not come from a reputable source, but didn't have any dates included and felt more like a list of movies we'd quote-unquote most likely get in the next coming years. Now, this most recent leak actually has dates attached and seems to make a lot more logical sense. It includes some movies that were recently precluded from the rest of the lists, but also doesn't include some that we've talked about, and especially real recently. We're going to break this slate down movie for movie, explain the dates and why this makes a lot of sense, and also point out some holes here. I'll give you my opinion as to what's going on and whether I think this is legit. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button, we're giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, as well as a whole slew of other Marvel related stuff, including tickets to go see Spider-Man Far From Home in IMAX once they go on sale, which should be any day now. All you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on the video, and if you want, stick around to the end of the video. I'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Now, as I mentioned in the prologue to this video and only moments ago, we've actually received 2 separate Phase 4 slate leaks in the last couple of weeks. Here at the channel, we didn't report on the first one, not only because it didn't have dates attached, but because it was from an irreputable source, namely the infamous Roger Wardell, whom everybody's decided to just take as fact whatever he says about the Marvel Universe here in the last couple of weeks, although there is plenty of evidence on Twitter and Reddit alike that he's been wrong for years. I guess if you just say enough stuff, some things will stick. And what really ended up working out in his advantage and helping his slate leak catch the fire that it did was 2 days later, Disney announced officially that D23 would be on August 24th and be the most likely unveiling point for their Phase 4 slate instead of the month before normal Hall H appearance at San Diego Comic-Con. The proximity of those two things in 48 hours really made it sort of feel official, but however, there were no dates, and really when you looked at the list, it didn't really feel like much of a slate announcement at all. Now, this most recent one, although from an anonymous source who quote-unquote used to work for Disney marketing, seems to have a lot more detail. It teases 10 movies in the next 3 years and also says, hey, we're not going to get back to 3 movies a year until 2022, but we'll get there. Let's just start at the top of the list, May 2020, Black Widow. And this makes a lot of sense, even though Kevin Feige was hellbent on not confirming this movie's release or even admitting the movie existed pre-Avengers Endgame's release. Some of you may remember Robert Downey Jr. poking a little fun at him on a late night show for that reason. But we do know Black Widow has started filming. That's been confirmed by the set photo leaks 2 in the last week alone. And if it's just started filming now, they can wrap it by next year, but a May slot release of the 3 that Marvel Studios normally goes with, that would be February, May, and November, makes a lot more sense than the February release date. That would be a really quick turnaround time. Now, speaking of the November date, Doctor Strange 2 in November of 2020. This makes sense if the rumors about it getting sent to filming in the beginning of 2020 are actually true. There's been some rumors about it filming in the UK, and I will say, of all the directors that have been on board at Marvel, he's been around for a while and he's already been active posting stuff on Twitter. A lot of you will remember he posted that cover with Doctor Strange and Namor. The script has already been in existence for a while, and like I said in earlier videos, when you've already got the whole cast and crew under some modicum of contract and you've only got to cast a couple more players, that makes it a lot easier to push a movie through all of that pre-production bureaucracy. So there's a good chance that this is the second film that we'll be getting in 2020. Now, no 3 films in 2020 and no 3 films in 2021, still only 2. In the February release slot, we'll finally get that Eternals film that a lot of people think we're getting in November of next year. I think this makes sense for the reasons that I just said, A, about Doctor Strange already having all of its pieces in place, but also we're just only now getting rumors and confirmations of castings. Again, really only loose confirmations. They're confirmed within the business and within the industry, but we can get no real confirmations from Marvel Studios until they actually release the movie. We know Angelina Jolie has joined the cast. There's also a good chance Richard Madden and of course Keanu Reeves have joined the cast as well. But if they're only just now casting, moving this to that February 2021 release date makes a lot more sense than it actually getting shot and filmed and cut by the end of next year. Now, followed by that, in the May slot, so no November 2021, just in the February and May slots, would be Black Panther 2. And if Marvel Studios is smart, and well, if they've taught us anything, they are, they're not going to want to wait too long to do Black Panther 2, given A, how strong its box office was, B, it's going to have been 2 or 3 years since that movie's come out, and then C, it's going to have been 2 years since Avengers Endgame. They're going to want that huge pull. It would also make sense not to have any movie follow that up. If you were only going to do 2 movies in a year, this would be one of the ones you'd want to do. You wouldn't need a second movie considering how well this is going to do at the box office, guaranteed. Not only is there the connective tissue to the first 3 phases and of course Avengers Endgame, but also this was $1 billion film, if I remember correctly, $1.3 billion at last count. They don't need a counterpart for this movie, so if they are going to do another film in 2021 when they release this as well, their quarters are going to be just fine. And speaking of their quarters doing just fine, I feel like this is a great time to mention, although not mentioned by the poster, look at these 2 noticeable gaps in 2020 and 2021. You wouldn't need to do a film because we know this coincides perfectly with what we already know they're doing with the MCU TV shows on the Disney streaming service Plus. We know in October of 2020, we'll be getting the Captain America Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show. That goes to filming this October, and perhaps in that second gap in 2021, that's when we'll get the Loki or the WandaVision TV show. You won't need a film to go in those slots because of course that'll be a multi-episode season with the same sort of budget and production as an MCU film, and all us fans will appreciate that just as much as a film. If anything, it's actually more content than just one MCU film. Now going forward from there, the next movie we would get in 2022 and going back to 3 films a year would be this Shang-Chi film. We know very little about it, and perhaps the biggest thing we know about it is this Mandarin villain. Kevin Feige during an AMA said simply yes when someone asked him if they would ever go back to the 10 rings and the Mandarin like they teased at the end of Iron Man 3, and Shang-Chi seems like the perfect place to introduce that. So many people have even gone as far to say, hey, you should just make Shang-Chi's father the Mandarin. That would solve a lot of problems. It would be a departure from the comics, but would work out for the story perfectly. It's yet to be seen how that's going to work out, and only rumors of beginning casting has been linked to that film so far, so we really know very little about it. But I will say in the past, Marvel has used the February slot to launch new solo movies like Black Panther and Captain Marvel, launching new franchises, new characters in that slot. So if they're going to 3 movies in 2022, Shang-Chi in the February slot makes a lot of sense, followed by a May release 2022 of Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Now listen, I would love to see this movie sooner than later, and we all know that the script is completely done. Before James Gunn got let go from Disney and then rehired, they were well on their way into pre-production, and if it weren't for that unfortunate circumstance where he got let go, this movie would have most likely been released in 2020 or 2021, and the rumors of how far it would go in setting up the Marvel Cosmic Universe have either been inflated or deflated depending on who you talk to. Either way, the one thing we can all be certain of is that Kevin Feige, Marvel Studios, and most of all James Gunn want to get this movie out ASAP, as it's set to feature a lot of major players in the Marvel Cosmic Universe to come, and hopefully is going to lay the groundwork for a lot of the things that happen in Phase 4. I also think this is an important thing to note. This slate has this movie happening before Thor 4, and of course it's got to, because Thor went with Guardians of the Galaxy. You'd have to start there, and technically if it picks up with only a short time passing between the end of Avengers Endgame and the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, well then they haven't even really left Earth yet for any amount of time. Thor's got to make his way out into the galaxy, get into some adventures before he can make his way back past the mantle to Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie, although he kind of already has. I'm sure Thor 4 will explore that a lot more than it has already. Now from here, if this slate leak is correct, 2022 is going to be an insane year. We will go from May's release of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 to November's release of Spider-Man 3. Now at first glance this may seem odd. Why would Spider-Man get his 3rd movie before some prominent characters get their 2nd? But really, Doctor Strange will have had his sequel, Black Panther will have had his sequel, Captain Marvel might have not have had hers, but of course Sony and Spider-Man are under this agreement, this predetermined number of movies, and you can guarantee whenever they signed that contract there was some sort of time clause in there as well. They can't let that 3rd Spider-Man movie and or the final movie on Tom Holland's contract with Sony just hang in the balance for too long, and pushing that into a 2022 date makes a lot of sense considering how close together Homecoming, and Far From Home have been, and then the rest of Tom Holland's appearances. Now, as I said, this would get even crazier going into 2023. It says that Nova would be the early release film, and like I said, about that February slot. They do release new characters, new franchises there. It's like a test slot, so that would make sense. And we have heard about Nova being in production. He was going to have a scene even in Avengers Endgame where he fought Thanos, and I think it's going to be awesome whenever we get Richard Rider's story. We're going to get to see the decimation of Xandar. In the comics, that's exactly how his origin story starts, and that was a really good reason not to show us that scene during Infinity War or Avengers Endgame when they went back in time. And then in 2023, May of 2023, the Fantastic Four. Now, when I first read this in this Slate leak, it actually almost stopped me from posting this because I thought to myself, okay, you just went ahead and capitalized on all the recency bias. We just got this rumor about the Fantastic Four coming out in Phase 4, and you went ahead and stuck it in 2023, not 2022. But then think about it. There's no Avengers anywhere to be found on this slate. There's none of the new rumored Avengers teams, no Dark Avengers, no New Avengers, no Young Avengers. They're leaving the Avengers out completely. And if you're going to actually wrap up Spider-Man as well, then there's a lot of room for a brand new team, a marquee name like the Fantastic Four. You could also go a long way in teasing the Fantastic Four in Spider-Man 3, as if you remember, Spider-Man number 1 has Fantastic Four on it. They're a great crossing over point. Now, I know a lot of people have seen the confluence of rumors about Spider-Man 3 being this portal into the MCU for a ton of characters like Venom and Deadpool, now the Fantastic Four. But the truth is that in the comics, Spider-Man had a great rapport and chemistry with a lot of characters like the Hulk and the Punisher and Daredevil, a lot of characters that are either in the MCU still floating around or now new to the Disney properties and need to be introduced some way. So actually getting Spider-Man 3 out earlier so that they can either renew the contract or finish the contract also lends itself to getting some of these new characters, namely Deadpool, into the MCU sooner than later, and you know that they're going to want to do that. Now, the Slate leak concludes by saying in the back end of 2023, November of that year, we would actually get Thor 4, and by that point, who can really tell? There's a ton of movies that could fit Captain Marvel 2, or perhaps a movie we don't know about yet, but still, it would come at the right place. Now, when it comes to Slate leaks or leaks of any kind here at the channel, I always issue a spoiler warning. However, this really isn't a spoiler to be had, so there was none, but always a reminder to take these with a grain of salt. It's not official, but if you want my opinion on leaks, I'm usually very harsh. Plot leaks, I rip them to shreds, but the logic is there. There's perfectly timed gaps for the two prominent streaming service shows that we're going to get that are tied to the MCU in the next coming years, as well as the sequence of movies adds up in a way that seems like it would be Disney, bouncing around both the Earth-based and the cosmic-based. But guys, let me know what you think in the comments about this leak specifically. Do you like it? Do you think it's logical? Do you not like it? Is there a movie here you're hoping to see, like that Hulk solo film or the Dark Avengers, hoping for something different than what you heard about today? Let me know in the comments. And quickly, before I let you go, let's get into the giveaway stuff. All right, we're giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, one at the 400,000 subscriber mark here at the channel, which we should hit by the end of the week, if not certainly by the end of the month. We're also giving away a PlayStation 4 Pro over on my Spotify account, Allfires. It's free and easy to enter that one as well. Just follow the link down in the description or comments below. If you have a Spotify account, great. If you don't, it's free to make one. All you need is an email. Go ahead and follow my account, Allfires, stream the song, just press the play button. There's only one song, it'll play it. Screenshot that, then send the screenshot to everythingalwaysYT@gmail.com. Far fewer people are going to do this than sub at the channel, and if you're willing to jump through a couple of extra hoops, it'll greatly up your odds of winning a PlayStation 4 Pro. We're going to cut off that one at 10,000 followers, and we're already halfway there. Now, here at the channel, if you want to win the PlayStation Pro here, any of the future prizes we announced, like tickets to go see Spider-Man Far From Home in IMAX once they go on sale, any of the cool Avengers Endgame Hot Toys stuff once they become available to the public that will be giving away, any of the future prizes, all you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and the more videos that you like and comment on, the better chance you have of winning. We use a random number generator to pick the winner, and then all winners are announced in the videos, and for the PlayStations, I do a separate video for that. This is Everything Always. My name is Michael Roman. Thanks for checking out the channel, guys, and stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.